Welcome! This brief tutorial will help you with your public relations challenge. We will work through a sample challenge and then with some strategic searches navigate through the databases you will need for this assignment. So our sample is Toyota's mass recalls from 2010. The then new Chief Quality Officer for Toyota was challenged with regaining customer trust after massive recalls for safety issues. So we want to find out what response the company and its North American CEO eventually made and how those recalls and the company's response to public concern impacted its reputation. So I have here some sample strategies that you can use. We'll be getting into specific databases. You can potentially even get into some specific journals for articles. You will want to limit roughly 1 to 3 years around the event. Sometimes just the 1 year of the event is enough. Sometimes you need to do 1 year before, sometimes 1 year after. You'll want to look in news, business, and trade publication articles. And that's where our business databases come in. And you also might want to go to a search engine like Google or my favorite alternative, DuckDuckGo, for news clips and video clips. And then company blogs and company press releases from the actual company site. The company site can be searched with Google. So you can go to, for example, Toyota.com and browse through the site and try to find press releases dating back to 2010. Or you can do it the smart way and go to Google and type in site:/.toyota.com recalls and then add your year, 2010. It's an amazing way to do that. It saves a lot of time. I also have down here some sample database strategies, and those samples I'm actually going to use to show you how to get into those databases and use these strategies that we have here. So let's now turn to our research guide for this course, and that's up here and available. You can go here. I'm actually going to go ahead and hit the escape button for a PowerPoint and head directly over to our research guide that is set up for this course. So here at the PRS201 research guide, and you'll notice it's ohiodominican.libguides.com/PRS201. Once we're here, we have several databases you can get into. Business Source Complete is the absolute first one I recommend for all of your companies. And depending on your company, you may also need to get into some of these other databases. So let's go into Business Source Complete now, and I'll give you an example. We're going to stay with our Toyota. So we can put in the company and let the database know that is indeed our company's name. And then we'll put in one word, maximum 2 words, but usually 1 word works best, that represents the particular challenge or issue that the company had. In this case, obviously, it's recalls. So at this point, I can click on the search button, and that will pull up my list. You'll notice 687, that's a lot, but we haven't narrowed it down yet. One way that you can potentially narrow it down is to put in the word reputation. That will bring up articles that actually have that word in them. Now we're down to 48, and you can see that it's a much more manageable number. If you don't find enough with the word reputation, take it back out. Now the screen that you're seeing right now is one for PCs and laptops. If I reduce it, this is what it will look like if you are on your mobile phone. You'll notice going back to the PC, we have 1, 2, 3 columns. If you're using a mobile device, you'll notice that those columns get a bit scrunched up here. All you need to do is go to the double arrows and close out those outer columns, and then you'll have a nice clean list of results. I'm going to open the window back up again now, though, so you can see all 3 of those columns as I navigate through this database. There we go. So as I scroll down, the important thing to do now is to get this down to either 2009 to 2011, or we can even do 2010 to 2011, which is what I'm going to do at this point knowing that my PR challenge happened in 2010, but it happened very soon in the year, so we should be fine to do it this way. We'll do 2011 now here. And now you'll notice that we will have 33 results, and they're going to be right during the PR challenge or right after, as the impact of the recalls and the impact of the company's response is made evident in these articles. So if you have an HTML full text, that's your full article. If you happen to have both PDF and HTML, I recommend doing the PDF. You will get any images that might be missing from an HTML document. And Business Source Complete is very good for full text. The other thing I'll mention up here, if you hover, you can get a brief abstract that will tell you what that article is about, if you can't already discern that from the title of the article itself. And that is Business Source Complete. You'll notice the periodicals we're getting into. Business Insurance up here. We have Marketing Research down here, and Marketing Magazine for number 3. We have trade publication articles, magazine articles, and some newspaper articles. Make sure you take a look at all 3. They'll give you sometimes different perspectives. And in this case, our list is short enough that we can just scroll down through the list of results and see what we can find. And that's Business Source Complete. Now, if we go back ever so briefly to our research guide, if you don't find enough in Business Source Complete, you'll want to go down to Business Insights, and then from there, Nexus Uni. Business Insights works very similarly to Business Source Complete, but one thing important that you need to do, because we are going to be searching for articles, and we're using keywords to search for those, not article titles, you want to change this to keyword. And now we can put in the same search, Toyota, but we need to type in the and recalls, and reputation. We can click on search, and this will pull up not only articles, but everything the company has that includes those 3 terms. Once we get to this point, you'll want to go back down here again to the left side. This one's mobile friendly. This will show up no matter what device you're using. And you can do a custom date range here. Put in your year. I would put in, at this point, it gives you a calendar. I do January of my year, which is 2010, day 1, and then follow that through to the end of the year. And again, if you need to go a little bit farther beyond that into 2011, you can do that as well. Okay, and 31st, so this will give me an entire calendar year surrounding my event and the company's attempt to respond to it. And so every one of these articles should be full text, and you'll find out that each one of these articles has both Toyota and recalls and the word reputation somewhere in it. As you can see from the article titles, they also are going to be giving you some different articles than what Business Source Complete is. So it's a very good database for this assignment. And if we go back then again to our PRS research guide, you have 3 other databases that you can get into, and the search works basically the same way, slightly different interfaces, but same strategies. The other thing I would mention on this research guide are journals, books, and blogs, particularly if you get too many results or you want to see what some of these particular journals and newspapers are offering. You can go directly into any one of these, from Forbes to the New York Times, Wall Street, Public Relations Strategist, and search using the same search strategies directly in these publications online. The other thing I'll highlight are additional resources. If your particular public relations challenge requires you to find out what some of the socioeconomic trends or consumer trends were at the time, then quick reference to statistics and demographics is a very good source to get to, and we'd be happy to help you locate some of the stats and data that you would be needing. Lastly, I've already mentioned DuckDuckGo and Google. Those are the two search engines I'd recommend using to find additional information. And I have the two sample search strategies here that you can use and use for your companies, though, that you would need to find the press releases on the company side, as well as news and press releases and video clips from that time period. Lastly, I'll mention we have research and citation help available. If you need any help with your research, please do ask us. We are available and ready to help you. And that is the tutorial for the PRS201 Public Relations Challenge.